Good evening. The Florida Department of Transportation, or FDOT, would like to welcome you to the public hearing for the design of the widening of US 231 from US 98, 15th Street to north of Pipeline Road. Financial Management Project numbers 217910, 75201, and 217910, 85201. In addition to the design staff here tonight, a representative from the District Right-of-Way Department is here and will be available after the public hearing if you have any questions regarding residential or business relocations on this project. A transcript is being made of all oral proceedings and will be part of the public record for this project. Before we start the presentation, I will share a few details to help you participate in this hearing. On your computer or device screen, you should see an information window that looks like the one in the upper right-hand corner shown here. To listen to the hearing, your computer or device speakers are selected by default. If you prefer to listen by phone, select Telephone in the audio pane of the control panel and dial in using the information displayed. All virtual attendees will be placed in listen-only mode throughout the public hearing. At a later date, we will provide responses to written comments that were submitted during online registration and those submitted at the in-person venue. The comment period begins as soon as the presentation has ended. Verbal comments from the in-person hearing will be addressed first. Verbal comments from the virtual online attendees will be addressed second. Providing verbal comments using GoToWebinar is simple. First, you must request to speak by clicking on the Raise Hand icon. During the comment period, the organizer will call your name that you provided during registration and will unmute you. If the microphone icon is green, you are ready to make your comment. If the microphone icon is orange, you will need to click on the microphone icon once, and it will notify you that you are unmuted, and then you can provide your comment. Again, you will not be on camera at any time if you join online. During the public comment period after the formal presentation, in-person participants will be called upon to speak first, followed by virtual online speakers who wish to speak. A recording of the webinar will be available at the project webpage 3 business days after the hearing. You can also call the project manager after the public hearing to request additional project information. The purpose of this public hearing is to share information with the general public about the proposed project. This public hearing also serves as an official forum to give you the opportunity to express your opinions and concerns about this project. There are 3 primary components to tonight's hearing. First, the open house, which occurred prior to this presentation, where you were invited to view the project displays, to speak directly with the project team, and to provide your comment in writing or to the court reporter. Second, this presentation, which will explain the proposed improvements, and third, a formal comment period following this presentation, where you will have the opportunity to provide oral statements at the microphone, or you may provide your comments directly to the court reporter or in writing. Additionally, there are members of the public participating in the public hearing virtually. There is a court reporter present at this hearing, and tonight's proceedings are being recorded. A transcript is being made of all oral proceedings and will be part of the public record for this project. This public hearing is being held in accordance with federal and state laws, regulations, and statutes. Advertisements for this public hearing included electronic letters to elected and agency officials, postcards mailed to property owners, newspaper ads in the Panama City News Herald, local media notification, and advertising in the Florida Administrative Register. Public participation at this hearing is encouraged and solicited without regard to race, color, religion, sex, age, national origin, disability, or family status. Persons wishing to express their concerns about Title VI may do so by contacting either the Florida Department of Transportation, District 3 office, or the Tallahassee office of the Florida Department of Transportation. This contact information is shown on the following slide, displayed at the sign-in table tonight, and is also provided in the project handout. The project is located in Bay County. This public hearing discusses two separate projects which are being designed at the same time. The first project begins at US 98 and ends at East 23rd Street, with an approximate length of 1.6 miles. The second project begins at East 23rd Street and ends at Pipeline Road, with an approximate length of 3.9 miles. The proposed design includes reconstruction of US 231 to increase road capacity from 4 lanes to 6 lanes. This project also includes widening of additional roadways within the US 231 corridor, along with significant improvements at several intersections. Widening and reconstruction will occur on the following roadways: US 98, State Road 77, State Road 389 East Avenue, and Transmitter Road. The proposed improvements are discussed in more detail on the following slides. Right-of-way acquisition is required throughout the project limits to provide for the roadway improvements and stormwater ponds. These graphics show the primary typical sections for the major roadway improvements. Proposed improvements on US 231 south of Mill Bayou include widening from 4 lanes to 6 lanes, with 11-foot travel lanes, 7-foot bike lanes, and a sidewalk on the west side of the road. Proposed improvements on US 231 north of Mill Bayou include widening from 4 lanes to 6 lanes, with 12-foot travel lanes, 7-foot paved shoulders, and sidewalk on the west side of the road. Proposed improvements on State Road 389 East Avenue are from south of Sherman Avenue to north of East Baldwin Road. These improvements include widening from 2 lanes to 4 lanes, with 11-foot travel lanes, a grass median, 7-foot bike lanes, sidewalks on both sides of the road, and turn lanes at the US 231 intersection. Proposed improvements on Transmitter Road include widening from 2 lanes to 4 lanes, with 11-foot travel lanes, 7-foot bike lanes, and additional turn lanes at the US 231 intersection. Beginning in the fall of 2021, the US 231 and Transmitter Road intersection will be widened to include additional turn lanes for safety and traffic flow improvements. Additional right-of-way will be required on both sides of US 231, State Road 389 East Avenue, and Transmitter Road. The US 231 and US 98 intersection will have new flyovers that will cross over multiple intersections and the Bay Line Railroad. These flyovers will allow traffic from southbound US 231 to westbound US 98, and US 98 eastbound traffic to cross over multiple intersections and the Bay Line Railroad without stopping for traffic signals or trains. A traffic signal will be provided on the flyover at the intersection between westbound US 98 and the left turn from eastbound US 98 to northbound US 231. Local roads and businesses will be accessible using a ground-level road system and a large loop road called a rotary, as shown on this slide. Additionally, on-street parking and green space will be included on the inside of the rotary under the bridges. The following slides will illustrate these proposed improvements. Looking from Jenks Avenue, here is what the rotary will look like. Through traffic will use the flyovers, while local traffic uses the rotary. Looking from Harrison Avenue, here is what the rotary will look like. Proposed features include access roads to Jenks, Harrison, and Grace Avenues, sidewalk, and green space underneath the flyovers. This slide shows a closer view of the US 231 at State Road 77 intersection improvements. A new flyover will be constructed on State Road 77 that will cross over US 231 and the Bayline Railroad. This flyover will allow State Road 77 north and southbound traffic to cross over US 231 and the Bayline Railroad without stopping for traffic signals or trains. US 231 ground-level motorists will be able to use traffic signals to access north and southbound State Road 77 and local businesses. This slide shows a closer view of the improvements at the US 231 and East Avenue intersection. The proposed improvements include adding turn lanes in all directions. An additional left turn lane will be added in both the northbound and southbound directions on US 231 and northbound State Road 389 East Avenue. A dedicated right turn lane will be added to southbound US 231 and southbound State Road 389 East Avenue. This slide shows a closer view of the improvements at the US 231 and Transmitter Road intersection. The proposed improvements include adding turn lanes in all directions at the intersection. An additional left turn lane will be added in both the northbound and southbound directions on US 231 and northbound Transmitter Road. A dedicated left turn lane will also be added to southbound Transmitter Road. A single right turn lane will be maintained in all directions. This slide shows a closer view of the improvements at the Sherman Road and East Avenue intersection. Proposed improvements include realigning Sherman Avenue at East Avenue. This will increase the distance between Sherman Avenue and Sherman Lane, allowing the addition of turn lanes at both intersections and improving traffic flow. The proposed improvements include 19 new stormwater ponds and modifications to one existing stormwater pond. The ponds will capture and contain excess runoff from the roadway system. Permitting will be performed on the project. As previously mentioned, this project has been divided into two separate segments. The first segment, known as Segment 7, is from US 98 to north of East 23rd Street. The design is currently 60% complete, with design completion scheduled for the summer of 2030. Right-of-way acquisition began in the fall of 2019, and construction is not yet funded. The second segment, known as Segment 8, is from northeast 23rd Street to north of Pipeline Road. The design is currently on hold, pending additional funding. Design completion is scheduled for the summer of 2030. Right-of-way acquisition began in the fall of 2019, and construction is not yet funded. Thank you. We will now begin the public comment period of the public hearing. Please note that we will not be responding to your comments and questions tonight. All questions will be responded to in writing following the hearing at a later date. Anyone desiring to make a statement will now have an opportunity to do so. There are multiple ways you may provide your comments tonight: written, verbally, or online. If you would rather provide a written statement than speak at the microphone, you may give that statement to the court reporter or complete a comment form.